Mark Whitman, Chair of the Shaftsbury Select Board. I'd like to call this meeting of the Shaftsbury Select Board to order at 6:37 on November 1st, 2021. First order of business, is there anybody that has a conflict of interest with anything shown on the agenda?
No.
Probably we are going to delete number 11 on the agenda, which is the Shaftsbury Cemetery rules. They think would like to look at it again before they have it signed by us, okay? Any minutes?
No minutes for this week.
No minutes for this meeting, okay? Next on the agenda is warrants. I have a payroll warrant number 9 for $22,422.02.
So moved.
Moved by Tony, second by Ken. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried, 5-0-0.
Art, can I have the green folder, Art?
You want
Yeah,
this?
just take the top sheet and let me see the folder for a second. Thank you.
Okay, I have warrant number 13 for a total of $43,825.40.
So moved.
So moved by Tony,
Second.
second by Ken. Items over $1,000 is Bennington County Regional Commission for $6,300.
This is the county SWIP agreement.
Okay. The other one is just Bennington County for $11,546.
That's the county tax warrant, half of the annual amount.
Okay. Bennington County Sheriff's $1,530. GA Fuel for $1,100. John Williamson for $1,000. Is that right? Yes. $1,095.
Yeah, I'm just checking out, I can't follow that.
Did you buy some straw or something from him?
Yeah, I've got this, what's the mulch? He's buried in here, sorry. I just can't recall that one. Right.
Mulch?
That was 365 bales of mulch.
Okay. Local farmer?
Yes.
Sullivan for the attorney for our water department, $3,058. Sycamore Landscaping, $2,400. It's just a payment. Wallingford Crushed Stone for $1,400. That's the gravel we use. And Woodard Equipment Company, $8,944.
It's a new plow, and it's the entire setup for a plow for the 5500. We had transferred the old plow from the old 5500 onto that one, and that's just given out.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried, 5-0-0. Announcements. I have a couple. One of them is that tomorrow is November 2nd, and there is a vote on the proposal for the Mount Anthony School District to bond, or retain a bond for $3.5 million to redo Spinelli Field. A lot of stuff in the newspaper, but I think if you have an opinion, you better vote. This is going to affect your school tax dollar considerably. It is going to be held at Cole Hall, right downstairs, from 10 until 7. If you're in the Shaftsbury School District number 1, those of you who are in that know who you are. You have to go to North Bennington and do it at North Bennington. The rest of Shaftsbury votes here, downstairs, 10 to 7, both places. North Bennington is at the train station. At train station, 10 to 7. So please vote. It's a controversial thing, so please make your opinion known. And the next thing is that those of you who are on the Board of Civil Authorities, that would be all the Justices of the Peace and Select Board, along with, I think, the Town Clerk, are on the Board of Civil Authority. November 6th, which is this Thursday, 6:30. It's going to be here. It's not going to be virtual. It's going to have to be in person. And there is a proposal up in Montpelier to redistrict some of Shaftsbury, and it could be quite dramatic for us. So we need to discuss this and find out what our options are. Anybody else have any announcements? Public comments? You're up later. Nobody on Zoom? Okay.
Well, there's 2 people on Zoom, no comments. Martha, you can hear us correctly, right? Wait, here, good, thanks.
Yeah, but they're
Thank you.
yeah, they're for later on.
Yes.
Okay. Public comments, and we just did that. You're at Treasurer's Report, Melanie. Bring your own chair with the couch.
No. You got my reports, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm
Take a look
not
at
doing
the
this
cash
portion,
flow
so that's too
first.
bad. But anyway, everybody can see mine. It's all public documents anyway.
Okay, you can see the big number there. That's what I do all day, every day. The taxes are coming in nicely. That's the quarterly highway state aid, which has a little bit of extra money in there for COVID, I think. Yes, that's right. We've already talked about that.
Yeah.
I think it was in the first half of the month. So if you wanted to scroll down to the bottom, so that's, sorry, I forgot to update the fiscal '21 taxes to date. We are running a little bit ahead of last year, but not as much as it looks like there. I will have that number updated for the next time. But you can see that we've collected, as of end of business on Thursday, almost exactly a third of our taxes. So that it's going to be a busy few days for me. I will be working I'm working much longer hours, but my official hours will be 9 to 5, Monday through Wednesday of next week. But please feel free to use my lockbox down there. I'm the only one with the key to it. I heard a rather alarming story that possibly the mailbox over outside the post office may have been victim of a fishing expedition. So I would not drop anything in there that I care about. I would go inside the post office if you want to mail things there, or else put it in my hands or in my box. Or by preference, use the online payment, always a better option, I think. You get an instant receipt, and it's only $1.50 for the e-check option. I just found out, this was news to me, that there was a ceiling of $10,000 on e-check payments. And somebody needed to make a payment of slightly more than that, and just got a message saying, payment not acceptable, or something like that, which was a shock to the person. So I had that raised to $25,000 now, so I don't think there are very many taxpayers in this town who pay more than that, but they'll be able to pay online too. If anybody else ran into trouble, try it again, and it's fixed now. And here's our reserve funds, not much going on, that's a little bit of water in there. Otherwise, not much going on in the reserve accounts. Sort of following on what I was just saying, I was talking to Dave about there are very alarming reports of new ways to commit fraud that I'm hearing all the time, and all the treasurers and clerks talk about it all the time. It's getting harder to stay one step ahead of them. So far, we've been, a combination of lucky and smart, I think, maybe more lucky, and we have not been victimized. But I asked Dave about the possibility of doing a fraud audit, just to see whether we're doing everything we can do. And as I say, the rules change practically daily. So Dave has looked into it, and did you have any follow up on that?
We haven't followed up yet, but
Yeah, but
VLCT
we were thinking
has
after
a
the
program
craziness
for it.
of tax season is
Yeah.
done, the VLCT does offer that, so.
They look at the way we do business and just make recommendations.
But they do what's called a fraud audit. It's a fee service for them, but it's $90 an hour, which is,
Yeah, it's
Nothing.
money very well
Oh,
spent.
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I think what they'll look at is especially our banking, the way we do banking online, and also the way we screen emails, that sort of thing. I just read another one of a very sophisticated email, say from somebody with everything looked to be completely legit, saying, please change my direct deposit to this bank account, and it looked very much like a real one. So anyway, I want to be aware of everything I could possibly be doing. So that's something on our radar.
Okay.
I can't think of anything else just because I'm kind of a little fried from processing taxes all day, but any questions about any of that?
November 10th.
November 10th,
November
Wednesday,
10th,
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
With the board's permission, I think we'll skip over the DPW report and go right to, we've got some guests here, so why don't we go. Chris, if you want to come up and we'll talk about you've got some proposed.
Well, sure.
And this is not a public hearing, you're just presenting this to us.
Right, okay. So what you want me to explain is what's up for a vote, is that right?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, this represents about 2 years of work by the planning commission.
And we thank you for that.
And first up is boundary line adjustment. Very, very technical subject, but something that is used a lot in the course of zoning, and the present language is inscrutable. And so the Development Review Board requested that we clarify this. And this was done really by zoning administrator Shelley Stiles and the town attorney, because it was so technical.
Yep.
And I'm convinced that we have a better language to deal with this common occurrence. The other big piece has to do with dog boarding and kennels. And we feel like that we're aware of 2 such facilities in Shaftsbury, there may be more, but this is something that we need in our community because everybody has pets and everybody goes on vacation or travels or whatever and needs these services. However, it's completely vacant in the zoning bylaws. So what that means is that anybody can come in and do whatever they want. And so this was a really long struggle to put this bylaw together because there were a lot of what ifs and what would happen if. So I feel like that we've got a pretty clear piece of bylaw here, and it deals with the fact that as we worked on this, it became apparent that nobody wanted to live next door to these things.
Yeah.
And yet we need them. And so how to set up guardrails to make that so that it's not disruptive, it's not become something that upsets a neighborhood. And so we have an extremely long setback from any residence, 1,000 feet. We have, you know, real close language about barking dogs and how that will be dealt with, enforcement mechanisms, inspection by a local veterinarian every year. I think it's very comprehensive, and you know, people will say, well, why do we need this thing? But it would only take one instance where this became a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
I have a facility like this near my house, and it doesn't create any conflict in the neighborhood. And so there's an example of how it could be done right. And they don't meet all the guidelines that we set forth in this bylaw, but pretty close. And I've talked to the operators and got their input in terms of what would make a viable business, what would be the limit on the number of animals, and so on. And I think we've got it right here. Then there are a bunch of smaller issues around swimming pools, which is just to create, to eliminate a contradiction that exists within the bylaws. Technical issue, they're not, you know, swimming pools are considered structures, but they're not treated as such across the bylaws, and we're just trying to get rid of a contradiction. And we have a couple other items that didn't make it to the cut before it was time to get on the ballot, and so we'll be bringing those to you a little bit later.
Yep, that's fine, that's fine. Any comments or questions?
How does this ordinance with the dogs compare to, say, Bennington?
Bennington doesn't have such a thing.
They don't.
The only, we researched all the towns of Bennington County, and only Pownell had anything that approached this, and I think there was something in Dorset as well, but nobody had a specific bylaw that addressed this type of facility.
So has there been a great demand for something like this?
Well, whenever I call to schedule my pets to, I think there is.
We use Zando or whatever his name is there up M7.
Franzendo, yeah,
Yep.
right, and Ravencroft on Old Depot are the 2 facilities we're aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they do a pretty brisk business, actually.
Yeah.
I know people in Williamstown who use Franzando.
Right, but I mean, I've never known it to be overloaded or turn people away. I'm just wondering if there's such a great demand that we, really
Yeah.
warrants having something like this.
There is.
I know people that came to Shelley saying, I wanted to have dogs or something like that. She said, you can't. There's nothing in the bylaws that says you can do it. So there have been people turned down that wanted to do something.
Oh, I meant turned down from like trying to board a dog, but it was overrun, so there was no room, they had to turn them away, that's what I was getting at. But to my point though is, I've never, and I'm, not that I'm out in the public a lot, when you're married with a kid, you really don't get out so much. But anyway, so, but I've never heard it. I've never heard of people saying, God, I wish we had a, dog kennel, geez, I've never had anybody say, Joe, is there a dog kennel? And
Yeah.
usually if they do, I recommend like,
Big business.
yeah.
It is a big
What
business.
I like about it is the fact that it protects owners, the owners of the dogs. I like the idea that the vets check in.
Yeah.
Yearly inspection.
Yeah.
Yeah, the yearly inspection.
But Bennington doesn't have anything like this either, right?
No,
And
they don't.
Well,
Bennington's
they have-
way bigger than Shaftsbury. Nobody's ever done, what I'm getting at, don't you
Janelle's-
think Bennington would have one by now? If there was
Janelle's
really a
has-
great demand like that?
Janelle's has a facility. First of all, it's very expensive.
I don't know if Glansburg still does.
No, and then second of all, I mean, I'll tell you, at holidays, it's a big business
Oh, I
because,
bet, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
You need a dog hotel, yeah.
One thing that stuck with me, sorry, I was on the planning commission when that whole thing started, so one comment, and I don't even remember who made it, but it was someone else who'd been involved in citing an Act 250 commissioner, I think maybe, I don't know if it was Rick Coke. Somebody made the comment
yeah,
that by far the most contentious issue they've dealt with in citing facilities was dog kennels, so it's worth having, there's no way that someone's gonna come into any town and start a dog kennel without some neighbor opposition, so it's worth having some language
But-
on that.
Just because Bennington doesn't have anything doesn't mean that there can't be dog kennels there. Is that not right?
That's right, that's right.
But they just aren't regulated.
Right,
Right.
As they aren't in Shaftsbury.
Yes. Okay. The business of a vet, is that gonna be retroactive, people that already have a business? Are you gonna ask that they start having a vet inspect them? Obviously, you can't make them have the setbacks and all that sort of stuff, but Franzano, for example, is he gonna have to start having a vet come in? Is that gonna be
I
retroactive?
don't think
Like
these
a
people are
state standard.
grandfathered.
Okay,
I mean,
I agree.
that's my non-legal
Yeah,
opinion.
okay.
Well, when it comes to health, I don't think you can grandfather too much.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, and I
Me
won't
either, I'm just common
venture an
sense
opinion
addressing
on this.
that, right.
Okay, just
My understanding is pre-existing
not
are
conforming.
exempt, but, are they exempt from yearly inspection? I don't know.
Okay,
Good question.
Yeah.
okay. Any other? No airports? Can't have an airport here, huh?
Oh, helipads.
Well, that was the other-
And airports, thank you.
No helipad.
I missed that
and
one.
no helipad.
Well, but
Yeah.
we read reports from the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, and they say, we're experiencing a proliferation of these sort of
Really?
situations. Local zoning doesn't prohibit or even talk to it. And we said, well, this is not something we really want in Shaftsbury. There is some question whether there is a situation up on the Glastonbury town line. There are signs that say helipad in front or something like that. And it might be a joke. We couldn't get to the bottom of it. But, apparently the trophy houses demand air transport. And, the numbers say this is something that's happening all around Vermont.
I know up in Addison County, there's a lot of airstrips up there with farmers that have had planes in the past, and of course, be very expensive now to own a plane, but there's a lot of airstrips up in Addison County where it's flat and all that sort of stuff. Yep.
Well, what we heard was that these are hedge fund people who are building big
Second
trophy
houses.
houses in Vermont,
Yep.
and that
I
they
can see
want to
that.
come in their helicopter
Gotcha.
because they can't spend the time driving. Well, I don't know about that, but, you know, the numbers seem like this might be something that we could be caught unaware.
Okay, so by saying we can't have one, if somebody wants one, can they come and get a variance or something like that, or is this just flat out? There won't
I
be
think
one
it's a
just-
flat out prohibition.
Okay,
We do have a large state airport too, that, you know, we just happen to have that in the neighboring town.
Yeah.
That's true.
Arlington has an airstrip.
Really?
Yeah, and where is that?
In Arlington, there's an airstrip up there, it's out in a field. They land and take off, yes, check it out.
Well, tell me where it is.
I'm not sure of the road, I don't know the name of it, I don't even know the name of half the roads in my town that I live in.
All right, okay.
I mean, I know I go by landmarks, but I mean, yeah.
I think when I saw the original language from, we were alerted by the state that this was, it's about helicopters really.
Helicopters,
It's not
yeah.
people with an old Piper Cub that they're, you
Yeah.
know, like, it's for helicopters.
okay.
Well, thank you for reminding me on that.
Yeah,
Okay, yes,
Chris, you missed one last thing that the select board had asked us to do, the grandfathering clause.
Oh, another one, yeah, okay.
What the select board had asked.
Thank you. And this has to do with abandonment of uses. And, there was a discussion at the select board level, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something. And we really started to dig into this in terms of, the present bylaw says 1 year,
Yeah.
commercial or residential. And as we looked at it, we thought, well, it might take more than 1 year to wrap up a business. So we want to extend the grandfather clause to 2 years for commercial uses and maintain 1 year as residential uses. That abandonment would be cessation of non-conforming uses. And, you know, actually probably in the town, we have more non-conforming residential uses, which are up on the edges of the town in the forest and recreation zone, conversion of deer camps into year-round residences with no permits, with no anything.
Yeah.
And we want that, when you move out, 1 year, it's done.
if somebody wants to do it, they gotta do it right. Somebody wants
Right,
to-
well, we see this as a problem. We think that there is a fair amount of this, is just from anecdotal evidence and driving around. But commercial uses, we want to give them a little more leeway.
Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, we're gonna have public hearings on this.
December 6th.
December 6th.
December 6th is the first of how many? Is it just one?
It's only one unless the board moves to make a major change to any part of this.
Okay.
And then there'd have to be a second one.
Okay. What was it, December 6th?
December 6th.
And then it'll be on the ballot,
Town meeting day.
town meeting day.
As individual ones, or is it just one group? Is it yes or no on the whole thing?
I haven't seen the ballot, Art.
Okay.
I would hope it would be individual.
Yep, okay. I agree. I mean, if somebody had opposition to just one, I'd hate to have them vote the whole thing down. just because of that.
It seems like that, you know, I'm with you.
Okay.
In-
Whose
individual.
decision is that?
I think it's pretty much the board's decision.
This board.
Yeah, as I recall from prior experience, when you had lots of these, they were separate. Because otherwise you could throw out years of work just because of one
Yeah.
particular thing that's grading on people.
Okay.
I guess I'd like to make it official. If it, let's make a motion and we'll have discussion.
So that'd be a motion to hold a public meeting or something.
No, what I'm asking is that each individual thing that
Oh, I
we
see.
talked about be put on the ballot so that it can be checked off yea or nay
Okay.
individually as opposed to.
Instead of a group.
I think procedurally that should wait until after the public hearing
Yeah,
and take that up then.
Okay,
I think the motion should be to hold a public hearing on December 6th.
okay, let's do that one
That's
first.
what I'll move to hold a public hearing on the bylaw amendments on December sixth,
What time?
2021. It would be at 6:30.
6:30.
It'll just be part of the regular,
Oh, is that a regular meeting?
regular meeting.
Okay,
Planning Commission has held their public hearing on this prior to sending it up to you, and there wasn't really any objections.
I have a motion, I need a second.
Second.
Second by Ken. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? So carried, 500.
Good.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Chris.
I'm sure it was a long 2 years.
Arthur, thank you.
All right, well, we have more coming.
Thank you, Martha. Okay,
or if we can skip ahead to number
yep,
10.
right, request for the Board of Public Trustees.
Yes.
I guess that's why you're here.
I'm here for both of them.
Okay.
Both hands.
Yeah, what it is that we had to buy a server, which is not in our budget.
Not in our budget, and at the time when we found out that for mostly security reasons, that our server was past its useful lifespan. The total project came up to a little over $14,000. That was not something we anticipated when we did the budget. So what I'm looking for the board to do is to make a motion that we ask the Board of Public Trustees for $10,286.67 from the G.W. Hawkins Fund that's controlled by the Board of Trustees. The additional amount of the contract that we placed the server has already been paid out of existing funds. But another $10,000 is kind of a big hit to the budget.
Yeah. Somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
It's a motion by Tony, second by Ken. So, does everybody understand? And this is does the Board of Public Trustees, do they?
We send a letter to the Board of Public Trustees. At their meeting, they will vote on
Whether or not,
funding it, the
so
request.
this is more of a we're requesting that they do this,
Requesting
okay?
it, yes.
We can't order it.
Yeah, well, this has all been paid for, but I
I
guess
understand.
it's a big deficit for the year.
Okay. So, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried, 500.
Okay.
So we'll get a letter to you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'll issue a check just as soon as I get called.
Okay, very good.
All right.
I think that leaves us with Department of Public Works.
Yes, the
Right.
the DPW report, which I don't have any updates from the DPW today. They are out grading. It's basically, we're getting to the season, we're getting the trucks and the roads, the final grading of the roads, getting ready for the snow to start flying, which will be quicker than we actually think here. But yeah, they were out grading Madison Road today and other roads. They've been, just like I said, basically just getting everything ready for winter.
Yeah, they're doing a smart job, they're just doing the places where there's holes, they don't
Yeah,
spend the whole
Yeah.
road. They're
the
just-
new road program has held the roads together a lot better. At this time of year and in prior years, we'd be scrambling to do everything. But some of these roads, Horton Hill's a good example, but just doesn't really need to get touched, you know, it's, the roads are in good shape now.
Yeah, they did Culver Road and only did a section of it.
Yeah.
That's a highly used road.
Yeah, so things are progressing along in that respect, and at the next meeting, we will have bid proposals to replace one of the dump trucks, paving of Buck Hill Road, and a project out in, at the end of Shaftsbury Hollow, where it intersects with Blue Pond Hollow. There's a water course underneath the road that really needs to be redone. It's in kind of rough shape. That'll be grant money too.
That wouldn't be this year's project, would it?
No, none of this would be this year's. This all has to be started after July 1st.
As far as road jobs, we're all through with culverts and major
Yeah,
water bars.
Yeah. because we deliberately held back this year, because when we were doing this budget, we were in the depths of COVID, and the economic projections were fairly grim, so we didn't want to have a lot hanging on the table. So we'll make it up pretty quickly next year. And if the infrastructure bill ever passes, we'll be really having projects. So,
In years past, whenever they've done a redone a section of where the state made engine, or told us how to do it, come springtime, they were beautiful, so.
yeah,
I'm hoping
yeah,
that West Mountain Road will be this, by the orchard will be the same.
Yeah.
And all that sort of stuff.
yeah. And that's made a big change, going for the under drains, French drains, and, you know, we're ditching a lot more. So it's kind of the basics of it, getting back to that. And changing the materials we spray the roads with has made a big difference too.
Any questions, Ken, or anything?
No.
Okay. Review of action items.
Just be putting out the notices for the, this is notices that have to go on, I believe, the banner, and they have to be posted for the hearing for the bylaws. I have a little checklist on my desk, so we'll make sure that all gets in for the 6th.
You're gonna send him a letter?
I will send the board of trustees a letter, yes.
And, the bids, you don't put that in the banner until after we approve? it?
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll bring them to the board. We were going to bring the truck one tonight, but International has put off all municipal contracts apparently for a month or so, so
Okay.
we don't want to open up a bid and have one of our major dealers not even be able to get a number for weeks, so.
Okay.
And we're just going to get moving on the other ones. They won't be really done until next summer, but we'll get them out. It's a good time for companies to do bids now.
Yep.
Also, probably going to have a request for proposals for the preliminary engineering and architectural design of a Lula system or a alternate system for handicap access to the second floor here at Cole Hall. And based on the cost estimates on that, the preliminary engineering sketches, we will then, part of that same contract, we could move to construction documents. But it all depends on the cost. As you might remember, the first Lula estimate was about $450,000, so that's not gonna happen. So we're gonna try again, and we have grants that we can apply to if I have a preliminary idea, because you have to bring material to them to get money, but there are definitely many alternatives to what we first discussed, which kind of, what floored me, seeing that kind of expense attached to it. So, but we'll get that out, because it is something we need to do, because that back staircase is, past its life. Yeah, and this lift in the corner here is not really a friendly, accessible point into the second floor. And we'll dovetail that with all the other things we're gonna do outside, so. But I think we'll get that going at the next meeting too.
Okay.
Do we need to warn that if we do the emergency water board meeting for next Monday? Or if you have an agenda, I can put it up on the, I don't know if we can warn it.
Yeah, I'll have to do, as soon as we hear back on the availability of council, I'll just do a quick agenda. It will have to be posted, but it's a special meeting, so it only has to be posted 24 hours before you hold the meeting. So, well, we'll see what the availability is, and I'll get that to you.
Okay. I'll just do it in the news section probably.
Yeah, it's best right up on the front page. It's gonna be, closed meeting anyway, it'll all be legal, so. The attorney will be here for that.
Gentlemen, anything else?
Anyone else?
Entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by
Second?
Tony and by Mike. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time.
Super.